So hello everyone, so very good morning. So we'll start now. Let me share my screen. Okay. So in previous sessions we saw that how the pricing will work in our Snowflake. So how they are going to charge for the storage, how they are going to charge for the virtual machine utilization, right? So virtual, so computation. So and here when you are here, it is not like traditional licensing, right? It's not like so one time you have purchased, so then we can use it for 1 year, right? So without any additional charges. But here what is happening, so whenever your utilization is increasing, always your so charge, so for the they are charging from the users, so the Snowflake, what they are charging from the users, it will increase. And here, if you observe, so when you created a trial account, so we got $400 worth credit limit. 400 credit limits is worth free for 1 month, right? The same way, so when you are working with our Snowflake, so we can limit the credit limits utilization based on virtual warehouse. Based on virtual warehouses. This one, when we are utilizing the virtual warehouse here, by default, we have only virtual warehouse. Only one virtual warehouse, that is a compute virtual warehouse, right? This is for the computation. So how much time we are utilizing, and then so how much time we are so implementing the processing for any query, that much time it is going to calculate based on the size of the virtual warehouse, and then it will give you the billing. So all this like virtual warehouse utilization, you can able to trace it back here by using, if you log into account admin, if you switch the role to account admin role, we can able to see that in a account icon, and then usage. Observe this usage here we have, right? So when you are working in organization, so you can able to see that billing information here, but for everyone, so they will not give the permission, only for the so admins. Now when you come to usage here, you can able to see that, see this one, credit used, right? Credit used. Based on this credit utilization, you can able to control the billing. So how exactly we can able to control the utilization? Let's say here the virtual warehouses here, right? So one virtual warehouse we can able to see. So now this is a account. In one account, you may have n number of users, right? For the same account, the developers are working and the testers are working, and then some business users also, they are using this account. When they are utilizing, for example, if anyone new to so this particular Snowflake, they were not aware of so how the so Snowflake is charging, they are keep on like executing some things, and then so they are running very long queries, right? So then, so what will happen? The charge will increase. To control that, we can able to work with resource monitoring. So here, so we need to understand. So before going to that resource monitor, so how it will work in the backend. So when, for example, let's take example of credit card utilization. Let's assume that you have a credit card. So on your credit card, you have so $1,000 of the credit limit, right? And so so you may have taken so for the same credit card add-on card, so for your family, right? So you have taken credit two add-on cards. So these are the add-on cards, let's assume that. Okay, all together what is the credit limit? $1,000 is the credit limit. This is per month, right? This is per month. So once, so when you are utilizing, so this all together, so for example, all together, so if you are utilized so $1,000 for this month, if you are this completed, this quota is completed, then you cannot able to utilize, right? When you try to swipe, what will happen? It will send you a message, it has declined, your transaction is declined, or it will so give us the message or email, so your the limit is so crossed, right? Then again you have to pay the so amount, then only so you have to um, utilize, right? Same way, for example, these are the add-on cards. Let's assume that when you give add-on cards, you can set a credit limit for them. For example, $300 here, and then so you can set $200 for this add-on cards. The same way, when it is coming to the our virtual warehouse utilization also, for the complete account you can set up a limit, and then for the each and every individual virtual warehouses warehouse level also you can set up a limit. Complete account level means on this complete account, this is the complete account, you can create n number of virtual warehouses here. So for example, so generally, so here we are working with only one virtual warehouse, right? So when you are working in any project, the virtual warehouses will be like this. Let's say for development, you will have for all the developers, virtual warehouse developers will be assigned. And for all the testers, virtual warehouse testers will be there. And then for all the data load, so you will have another virtual warehouse. Like this, they will differentiate the virtual warehouse, and then they will assign this virtual warehouse to the specific roles. The roles which we have created in the last session, right? When you are discussing about data masking. So there, so we will create a role, and then we can assign the grant, so utilization of the virtual warehouse to the developers. So to that particular role. Then every time when the developer is using, then they will be utilize the same virtual warehouse. If you want to create a multiple virtual warehouses, now observe this. So here, so this is for loading, data loading. Okay. So virtual, so warehouse. And then you can give, so anything just here. So we are giving for the medium. So now we created one virtual warehouse. The same way, sorry, the same way we will create another one. So for the development, so this is for all the developers. This is we will give it for the developers, and then again the same way we will create it for the testers. Another virtual warehouse for testers, right? For all the QA and then testers they can able to use. So this particular virtual warehouse. Now the so different virtual warehouses available. All these virtual warehouses where it is available in within the account, within the same account, right? In the same account you have all these virtual warehouses. Now so our intention is we need to control the credit limit for this each and every virtual warehouse. Now so if you observe, these are the virtual warehouses so we have available, and then let's see so how we can able to control that credit limit. So here, so so in this example, so to discuss, this is your complete, so your the main, the account details, this is the add-on cards, right? The same way for the complete account you will have a credit limit. Let's assume that, let me show you a diagram here. So now if you observe this, say this one, so this is, so these many virtual warehouses is available. So this is for the computation layer. So these complete things is available for the complete account, right? These many virtual warehouses like we have created, right? All is for related to one account. The complete account credit limit is $5,000. So credits. We have 5,000 credits. We used to call it as a credits. So when we have the complete account 5,000 credits all together, it should not be exceed more than this, right? So more than this, it should not exceed more than this. So this is the credit limit. And at the same time, if you want to assign it for individually, for example here, so how we have created developers and then testers for the data load, right? For the testers, so for monthly they should not exceed so more than 1,000 credits. Then we can set up a resource monitor for that. And virtual warehouse we are assigning to the resource monitor. This resource monitor, what it will do is it will keep on monitoring the credits, so how much it is utilizing. So when it utilizing, so based on that utilization, based on the monitoring, it is going to take a actions also. Not only the monitoring, you can able to set up a actions. It means, so let's say, so when you utilized, when you so crossed so 50% of the complete credit limit, you will receive a email or notification. You have so utilized 50% of your credit limit. And then if you so reach 90% of the credit limit, you will receive a message or email, you have utilized 90% of the credit limit in your allocation. If you receive 100%, it will send you a message. After that, it will stop, right? So it is taking a action, right? The same way, so when the credit limit is reached, so it can send notifications. We can call it as a notifications. It is going to send the notifications. So you can set up these notifications for any percentage, like 60% of the utilization, or 80% of the utilization, or 90% of the utilization. However we want, we can set up a notifications for all these resource monitors. All these resource monitors, we can able to set up a notification. And at the same time, you can implement you can take a action. Actions are two things. So here we have suspend and suspend immediate immediately. Suspend and then suspend immediate. We have two things. Suspend, what it will do is, when the any query is running in the backend, if it reached that percentage of the credit limit, then it will allow to finish that query to complete. After that, it will stop that particular virtual warehouse utilization. It will stop that particular virtual warehouse. When it is coming to suspend immediate, it will not allow running query also. It will not allow running query also. That is the difference between suspend and suspend immediate. So this means it is going to abort that query, abort that running query also. So this one suspend, it will allow the running query. After that, it will stop the virtual warehouse. Here also it will stop the virtual warehouse, but immediately it will abort that running query also when you mention suspend immediate. Based on the percentage we are going to assign to the resource monitor, so how much of the percentage we are going to assign. And one more thing, if you observe in this particular diagram, these virtual warehouses, so we are assigning to, see this one, resource monitor. And here if you observe, virtual warehouses we are assigning to one resource monitor, right? You can assign multiple virtual warehouses to one resource monitor. Okay. In certification, they will ask one question. So can you able to assign one virtual warehouse to two resource monitors? It means we have resource monitor 2, resource monitor 3 here. Can you able to assign virtual warehouse 3 to both the resource monitors? That is not possible. Why? What is the main intention behind assigning the resource monitor? It is keep on watching the credit limit utilization. When resource monitor 2 is watching the credit limit utilization for this particular virtual warehouse, again, so we don't require to assign this to another resource monitor. Already this is watching, right? But you can assign so both together. So multiple virtual warehouses, you can assign it to a single monitor. But so multiple monitors cannot be so assigned to single virtual warehouse. If you suppose, if you do that, what will happen is, previous one it will be disconnected, and then recent one it will be appended to that. We will see that practically. So now, if you want to create the resource monitor, all these things, so we are going to implement by using account level in account admin. By using account admin only, you can able to do that. Okay. Now one more thing, before, if you come to account, you can able to see the resource monitor here. Observe this. We can able to see the resource monitor. This resource monitor, when you are implementing, first thing we need to remember is, so first you need to activate the notifications. Here you can able to see notifications icon, and then here account icon in the resource monitor. So without activating the notifications, if you try to create a resource monitor, observe the option what it is telling, right? See this, get notification to the warehouse. So you have to turn on notifications, turn on notifications. So first you need to do that. Then only we can able to get the notifications. Now to do that, so click on the notifications here, icon, notification icon, and then click on settings here. Observe this, click on settings, and so here you can able to see so notifications option here. So here it will give you so information so for which email you have used for the registration for this particular trial account creation, right? The same way it will be available. So and when you are enabling the notification, we have two things. One is email, one is web. Email means it will send a notification to that registered email. So when you created a account, so that is one thing, email. Web means it will display the pop-up here. When you are utilizing, it will display pop-up when it is reached that credit limit utilization. So you can, if you want both the things, then click on all. Click on all. If you want any one thing, so you can click on a web or you can click on a email. Okay. So generally, so we will click on also it will send a email notification as well as it will display in the so window as a so pop-up. Now what we have done, we have activated the notification, the notifications we have activated. Now next come to account, and then observe this how to create a resource monitor. We can create n number of monitors so based on the virtual warehouses, so there is no limit. When you are creating resource monitor, observe this, click on create resource monitor. So for this, so let's resource monitor, so just we will give rm. Okay, so this is for the account. ACC account level. This is for the account level. So if you remember, when you created a trial account, so we have $400 of the credit limit utilization is free, right? Credit quota is credit limit. So credit, how many credits it has, we have. So just I have given 400. Okay. Now 400, this is for the trial account. 400 is the maximum they have given. And observe this. Next, this is a credit quota related to credit, and then monitor level, is it a account level or warehouse level, it will ask. Account level means for the complete account. This is for the account level we are creating. Let me select account level here first. When you are creating, this is for the account level. So if you want warehouse level, you can select a warehouse, that is a so another thing. So we will see that in the next one. So now schedule, see this one, begin monitoring immediately and reset at the beginning of the month. So this is the default setting. This is the default setting. If you don't customize this, so always, so it will begin monitoring this particular account immediately, and then every monthly once it will reset the credits. It will reset the credits. You can set up this reset, so you can do it for weekly also, daily also. See this one, status, immediately it is monitoring. If you want to start monitoring this later, you can select the later and then you can give the time when you want. Now observe this, when you can select a later, it will ask you, so when you want, you can select anything. And then reset. Reset is you can give it a monthly, weekly, or never. Okay, so you do, so never, you don't want to, if you want to, so don't want to reset, so you can so use a never. So and then monthly or weekly or daily based on the requirement. Mostly it will be a so monthly or weekly, and then ends never. Okay, so it will keep on so monitoring, and then click on that. These are default settings which we are having. This is for monthly level, monthly, and then it will start immediately monitoring this, so this particular account, the complete account level, by using this resource monitor. When you are doing that, observe this. Sorry, this is important thing. Observe this. Okay, again I will create RM account level, $400 credit limit, and then account. Observe this one, action and notifications. Notification means it will just send a email, that's it. It will just send a email or it will give you a pop-up. So once the credit is reached, see this one. So this is different. So notification here. So it will send a notification, but it will not perform any other action. Notification you can give it for, so for example, I want notify for 70% of the credits is used, right? If you want again another notification, again you can give, again I want, so after, so 90% of the credits is used. You can give that. So and so here if you observe, see this one, suspend and notify, suspend immediately and notify. Suspend and notify, if you observe generally, so 80%. So now observe this. What is the statement it has given? It will allow running queries to complete before suspending the warehouse. Before, when you are running any query, so what it will be there? So it will be assigned to one warehouse. We are going to run that in a particular warehouse. If it identifies this 80% of the credit is utilized for this particular warehouse, it will allow that current query to finish. After that, it will suspend. That is a suspend and notify. Another one is suspend immediate. So once it is reached to 95% of the credits, suspend immediate. Observe this, abort all the running queries and then suspend warehouse immediately. What it will do is it is going to abort all the running queries, current running queries also it will abort in that particular warehouse, and then it will suspend once it is reached 95% of the credits is utilized. Now, so these are the so actions, suspend and then suspend immediately. After that, what we have again, we have set up a notification. So these are the notification. This is for account level. This monitoring is for the complete account level. Now let's create this. If you want to so do this by using SQL, so this is the syntax, right? So here what we are doing, so we are using, so by so creating, so by using this option, GUI option. Now let's create it. When you click on create, now observe this, what happened. The account level is created, the monitor RM account level, and then quota used. So it is started monitoring. And then so what is the total credits? 400 credits we have given. Account level, see this one, credit quota, used credits, remaining, and then frequency. Frequency is nothing but so how frequently it has to refresh the credits. So monthly, so once, for example, this month it has utilized 300 credits, and the next month first, so one after the creation, this one, this date it will calculate. After that, exactly the next month, again it will reset it to the 400. Again it will reset to the 400 credit quota. So we have a notifications for 75% and 90%, suspend for 80% we have given, and then suspend so immediate for 95% we have given, right? And then so with the owner and then created. So this is for the so account level. So now let's see, so for warehouse level, so the same way we will create for the warehouse level. So warehouse level, so for complete account level is a 400, right, credits. Now so give the warehouse level, so credit, sorry, this is for RM resource monitor. Let's assume that this is for the development. Now credit quota is 200. Then monitor level, warehouse level. Previously we selected for the account level. Now we are selecting for the warehouse level. We selected warehouse. Now when you observe warehouse level, see this one, these are the warehouses we have, right? Virtual warehouses. Select any one, right? Or you can give so both also. Okay, we will see that. So now this is for the one thing. Again, what we will do, we will give the credits utilized. So the percentage suspend and then suspend immediate. So we will give 80 and then 90, and the notification is for 75%. And then when you create, this is for so your so dev virtual warehouse monitor, $200. So what is the so maximum utilization we have given? 200. After it utilizes 200, then it will be suspended. So now, so one more thing, so let's observe this. This is very important. So just I am creating RM M and credit utilization, remaining we have 200, right? And warehouse level, now observe this, so load, and then we can give it for the multiple virtual warehouses we assign to single monitor. So these virtual warehouses we are assigning to single monitor. Now observe this, So you can so give this again. So for 80, then 90, the notification. It's up to us. You can give under, you can ignore. So now we have given this. So actions and notifications we have given, and then create. Now observe this here. So here it is telling the warehouse level. Here it is telling the warehouse level. Here you can able to see. So for which virtual warehouses is assigned to that particular resource monitor. Now this virtual warehouse is assigned to this resource monitor, right? Now, so if you want to, for example, so this particular resource monitor, when you have assigned this one, so again you need to, if you assign this already, this one test virtual warehouse is assigned to resource monitor, this one. If you create another resource monitor, if you try to assign that resource monitor, so for this particular virtual warehouse, then what will happen is, then it will be disconnected from here. Then it will be disconnected from here. You cannot so assign same virtual warehouses for two monitors. Account level it is fine. So this is the complete account level. This is related to the complete account level. But this is for the warehouse level. When you are doing that in a warehouse level, it will not allow you to create so two monitors for one virtual warehouse. Now let's observe this. So here we are creating another monitor, resource monitor. So one, and credit quota. Let's take 100, and then this is for warehouse level. Now observe this warehouse level. So let's take it as for the load or test anything. Now when you select this, now observe what is the warning it is giving. See this one, warehouse that are already monitoring will be reassigned. It means this warehouse is already monitoring by so this rm so monitor, right? So this particular resource monitor, again if you reassign this, if you assign this to another monitor, that will be gone from here, and then it will be reassigned to this latest resource monitor. Okay, so now so let's give 80% and 90 and 70. Okay, so now we are creating. Now observe this, what will happen is we assigned. Now see this one. So we created another monitor, this one, RM1. Now previously this load so warehouse is assigned to this particular test warehouse, right? But now what happened here? So this is the load warehouse, right? Load warehouse. Now if you observe one thing, okay, what is the total credit limit we are having? $400 of the credit limit. But so what we have trying to use here, so now if you observe here, so resource monitor dev, resource monitor m, and then resource monitor 1, all together if you calculate, it is going more than 500, right? But individually we have given here, but when it is calculated, so more if it is reaching this, the account level so will take a action. So let's say for example, here it is utilizing around 150, here it is utilizing around 180, and then here it is trying to utilize around 90. When it's observed, if it is reaching the complete account level will be the highest priority, it will take a action. The account level will take a action. So based on that, it will suspend the complete account level, or it will send a notification. So or so it will going to suspend immediate. So based on that, it is going to take a, whatever the actions we have given, right? So based on that, it is going to take a action for the account level. Account level is the highest priority. You can give so all the 400 to one virtual warehouse, that is fine. So but so account level is the highest priority, it will calculate. So what is so happening in the complete account? Complete account means all the virtual warehouses. So in any organization, so when you are working in any project, you will have these virtual warehouses. All the virtual warehouse utilization will be keep on. So it will be monitoring. It will monitoring based on that, it is going to so take a action. So remaining you can able to see that. And then if you so keep it like this, and then when you are utilizing, so maybe after so one or 2 days, if you observe, so you can able to see the resource monitor utilization quota, how much quota it has been used. all this information we can able to see that. So if you want to create a resource monitor, what we need to do? So first you need to enable the notification, and then before that you need to connect to the account admin role. Then we have to enable the notification. First enable the notification, then we can create a resource monitor. So must and should, you should have a one resource monitor for account level, for the complete account level, then remaining individual thing. So it's up to us individually. So for the each and every warehouse, we can create a resource monitor. And one restriction is here, one resource monitor so can have so n number of virtual warehouses, but the restriction is so one virtual warehouse cannot be assigned to two resource monitors. So that is the one the so restrictions we need to remember. Okay, this is about so how we are going to work with a resource monitor, how to control the billing. Okay. So this is the thing. So now so let's come to another topic. So we'll come to partitioning. Okay, generally, okay, before that, so give me some idea in the back end. So what is generally partitioning? In general databases, in any other traditional thing or legacy systems, so what will happen? So every data will be every day full data, whatever the data it will be available, every data it will be stored into the tables, right? When it is storing in the back end, it will occupy the storage. And so to improve the performance, so what we are going to do generally, so we'll create a indexes, right? And then we will create a partitions, right? So database administrator will be there. They are going to take care of creating a indexes, creating a partitions. So let me show you something. For example, so anything, so what we will do, so to so generally they will create a partitions, they will create indexes before loading the data. So they are going to so drop the indexes and then recreate the things. But when it is coming to partition in snowflake, as a user, so we are not going to perform anything. We are not going to perform anything. Now, in this particular account, did we created any partitions, right? In our Snowflake, we didn't created any partitions. For example, let's come to some of the data in the tables. So let's take huge volume of the data here. So here, if you observe, we have this weather schema. This is the sample data which the Snowflake has given for us for the practice purpose. If you observe, this is our database. Observe the icon here. This is our shared database. So again, we will discuss when we are working with the shades here. So this is a shade. By seeing the icon, you can understand this is a shade. So we didn't created this one. This is real time the data. So from the call center organization, TPCDS, right? This is a call center organization name. So from there, they have requested the data for so our trial practice purposes. Now here, if you observe, we have 37 GB of the data, 227 GB of the data, and then 1.7 TB of so data here. So we have huge volume of the data here. And at the same time, if you observe, if you want to pick some information from here, let's check. When you give this, so what will happen here? It is going to pick some of the information from here. This is like JSON data. Let me check. This is also this will come to later again how to handle the JSON so files. This is a semi-structured data. So what we are viewing here, right? This is semi-structured data. This is a variant data type. You can able to see that, right? We use a variant data type here. We will see that how to handle this again. So now let's come to so any other schema. Okay, let's take from this particular table. So we have some data here. Okay. So generally, when you want to check, we didn't create any partitions here. Select start from. So what is the table? Returns, right? So here return data escape, item escape, item escape. Now this is the column. What is the table name is returns. This is the table name. Okay, let's pick that. Or from table where where I'm trying to show you how the partitions will work in the backend. Now, so equal to. So I will pick some number. Now when I am executing a query, now it will give you the result, right? From this data. So how much data we have here? Around, observe this, 770 GB of the data here we have. So now observe how many records we have, how many rows we have. Some billions of records, right? Now let's observe this, how much time it is going to take. How much time it has taken? 22.41 seconds. 22.41 seconds, right? So here we have around almost near to, so 800 GB of the so data available in this particular table. Then how fast it displayed these details very so basically. But here, so we are not so implementing any indexes here, and at the same time we are not creating any partitions also here. So here, so what will happen is, as a user, remember, as a user in a Snowflake, we are not going to touch any partitions. Always it's a completely software as a service. Snowflake is a software as a service, we can consider. It means everything they are taking care. So from the partitions, from the backup, and then so disaster recovery, everything they are taking care. So whatever the admins they will do, right, for the traditional databases, so the Snowflake is taking care of us. Now, so if you observe, this is the data it has so fetched. Now when you observe in the backend what happened in the backend, you can able to see profile. So see this one, see this, the down, observe this, partitions total. See this one, how many partitions totally? 49,448 partitions. We didn't created this. The Snowflake automatically it has done from the backend. And partitions scanned, 3,971 partitions it has been scanned. So how it has been scanned, these only these partitions, why it has been scanned only these partitions, and then how it is created total number of partitions. So for this, so in the back end, the every data when it is inserting into the table, so when you created a table data, automatically whenever the data inserting into the table in the back end, it will Snowflake will run a algorithm. So based on that algorithm, it is going to create partitions. When it is creating a partitions, so we need to so remember these terminologies. Each partition, each partition, it will be after compression. After compression, maximum it will be 16 MB. Each partition is 16 MB. So this is one thing, remember this. So two things, this is very important in certification, they will ask this one. So after compression it is 16 MB each partition. Before compression it can be 50 to 500 MB. Before compression it will be 50 to 500 MB. This is the limit. This is the limit in between. So 500, so 50 to 500 MB each partition will be created in a Snowflake. This is before compression. So after the compression, maximum it can be 16 MB of the, so file. This is the completely, when it is storing in the backend, it will store it in a file format. So it is blob storage. Blob storage, it will be completely, it will store each and every partition. Each partition, it will be in a file format. So, and so when it is storing the data, it will compress the data and then it will store. When it is fetching it from the backend, if you observe in the partitions, see this one. So this number of total partitions we have, and then these many partitions it has picked. But if you observe one thing here, see this processing time, processing time, and then remote disk IO, and then so local disk. All these are the so information from the backend it is giving. The processing time. So why 2% means why it is taking 2% means remote disk IO means nothing but when it is picking the information from the backend. When it is picking the information from the storage layer, that is nothing but a remote disk IO. And so local disk IO, that is nothing but so that is related to the virtual warehouse. This one, virtual warehouse. This is related to virtual warehouse. So when you come to this, and then we have another thing, processing. Why it is taking 2% for the processing means here. So what will happen in the back end? Each and everything will be, it will be in a compressed form, compressed, and then it will be in a file format. When you are fetching the information from that, it has to uncompress the data from the backend and it has to show it to us. That's why it will take so processing time here. That's why you can able to see the processing time. Okay. So now, so these partitions, how it will be created. So what is the backend about these particular partitions? If you observe, so the partitions, so as a user, we will not have any option to create a partitions in a Snowflake. So this is just a, so theoretically we need to understand the things how it will work in the back end. So if you observe here, see this, so it will so overcome all the limitations of the static partitions means nothing but so your traditional partitions. Okay, there is no indexes, and then so once the partition is created, so again if you want to recreate a partition, every time you need to do the manual work. But here instead of that, see this one, so it will automatically the partitions will be created. This we will call it as a micro partitions. And each micro partition that we discuss 50 to 500 MB of the uncompressed data. It is uncompressed data. After compression it will be in the form of so 16 MB after compression. And so every partition contains group of rows in a columnar storage. Columnar storage means, let's try to understand this, how the data will be stored in the backend. See this one. If you observe, this is your logical structure. When you fetch, so fire a query, so it will be like type, name, and then country, date. You can able to see the data like this. But in the back end, when it is storing, this is the physical structure, how it will store. It will divide this data based on columnar storage. Columnar means, see this one, each and every column here, type, name, country, and then date. Each and every column, this particular column, first, consider the first type, the column name. It's divided this column into four partitions. Observe this, four partitions. And each and every partition having six records. See this one, the first records in one partition, next six records in another partition, next six records for the type is another partition, next six records in another partition. The same way for the name column. Name column also it's divided into another six partition. The country column again it's divided into partition. Again the date column it's divided into partition. This physical structure is a columnar storage, and then each and every partition it will be in a file format. It will be stored in a file format. It will be compressed file. It will be compressed. After compression, each and every partition will be 16 MB. 16 MB. Now, so when you fetch a query, for example, now observe this data, this complete data is available. Now when you, so for example, select star from table, and then where condition if you give, so type equal to 2 and then name equal to C and then country and then date, some information, then what it will do generally, it will scan the complete table, right? And then it has to give the result. Instead of that, if you observe here, see this, so first it will fetch where that related data is available in which partition. How it will understand which partition the data is available means each and every partition again what it will do is it will maintain metadata information related to each and every partition. Based on the metadata only, it will identify how many partitions it has to be scanned. See this one, 3,971 partitions scanned instead of so nearly so 50,000 partitions, right? So how it has picked only these partitions? This is related to based on metadata of the partition. Metadata after partition, how it looks like means each and every partition we have right here. Now let's observe this first thing. So where this data is available, whatever the request at this particular data, if you observe, for type equal to 4, name equal to C, and then country equal to SP, and then date equal to this one. This information is available in this particular partition. It will, instead of picking the information from all the table scan and then all the partitions, it will go exactly to this partition, and then it will pick the information from this particular partition from the backend. How it will happen is it will have this kind of metadata will be available. This is like a row storage and then columnar storage. Now observe this. This is the information what it is available in the metadata. Now observe this in the micro partitions. So this is related to ID and then country, city, and then value and then month. If you observe this, these related information, each and every partition information, observe this again, it contains this information in metadata. Now observe this ID 1 and then max 12. So minimum to maximum. And then again in the channel again minimum to maximum. And then in the city, so minimum to so maximum based on the so ascending order, right? Value. So now
Yeah, I have a question here.
yes, tell
Let's
me.
say, yeah, just come to that screen.
Yes, yes,
Actually, it's showing that 1 to 12. Minimum is 1 and maximum is 12.
correct.
And let's say if
Mm,
I have to see that block, that partition has been prepared for 16 MB with between 1 to 12. Now
okay.
I'm adding some
Mm,
data for
mm,
let's say ID 6 or ID 7, which is
mm-hmm,
exceeding that 16 MB.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So what will happen in that case?
No, in that case, we will come to that. So whenever that once the partition is created, you cannot able to do any changes for that particular partition. It is a separate version. For example, you mean to say that, so I have a data here. So in this partition, again, so for this particular for I want to insert or I want to update some data for this particular thing, right? When you want to do that, so again it will create a new partition. This one will be old version, it will become it as a old version of the partition. In the new version of the partition, it will create again the new partition will be created. It will be a new file will be created, new version will be created. That I will, we will discuss that one. Okay,
Okay,
then
okay,
you will be very clear on that. Okay, so now just understand so how the metadata partitions will be available. Each and every partition, the metadata information will be available. Based on this metadata partition, so it is going to pick the information. And one more thing, so I forgot to tell, when partition is created, each and every partition, these partitions are immutable. Immutable means it's nothing but once the partition is created, you cannot do any changes for inside this partition. That file permanently it will be available. If you have any new changes, so for that, again the new version of the file will be created. The new version of the file will be created. That we will see that so in the so next session. So how the things will work in the so backend. So now so just remember the as a snowflake user, we are not going to do anything. We are not going to take care of any partitions here. Everything will be taken care by our snowflake itself. Snowflake itself, it is going to create a partitions, and then in the so backend mechanism, automatically whenever for each update or each insert when you are doing, automatically these partitions also it will be so new partitions will be created in that particular place. Okay, and so based on that only the metadata information of the each and every partition it will pick. And then remember these two things. So the after before compression, so 50 to 500 MB each and every partition, after compression, and then 16 MB. And one more thing is each every partition in snowflake, So once it is created, it is immutable. Just remember this one also. We cannot able to so delete the partition. So we cannot able to so update the partition. So that partition will be there in the backend always. Okay. So we'll so discuss more on this in the so next session. Okay. Any other questions from anyone?
Dinesh, will the metadata also store the distinct values of particular row or particular column?
Mm-hmm.
You just showed minimum and maximum values, right? So will it also store the distinct values?
No, distinct it will not show you. So only the minimum and maximum.
Okay.
Where the
Dinesh,
where the metadata like this this header was it is storing, it is again a partition or what? Because this is going to be a heap data again.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If we talk about that 15
Mm-hmm.
crores of record, then the
Mm-hmm.
metadata itself is a big record. So
Mm-hmm.
there should also be a mechanism to read this metadata.
Correct. All these things will be available in a cloud services layer.
Means
Means nothing but so for example, so if you when you created an account, so we have created a AWS, right? We have created AWS, right? So in the backend, everything it is storing in the AWS. So AWS cloud services. So there it will be available. Now observe this one, the cloud services. So we are mentioning here, this is a storage. The partition will be there in the backend storage. The metadata, it is not in the storage. Metadata information available in the cloud services layer. When compared to the storage, so this is not so very less information only, right? Minimum just it is so giving, it is not storing complete information, just the like a high level information only for each and every partition.
what is difference between this cloud storage and the storage services? Means because both are on cloud, I think.
Both are on cloud only. So
Hmm.
when it is coming to the storage, it is in the so backend. For example, let's assume that AWS S3. So that is a
Hmm.
bucket where we are going to store the data, right? If you
Okay.
want to utilize that in the cloud services, there will be a cache layer.
Hmm.
Okay, so that cache layer is nothing but a cloud services here.
Okay.
Okay,
Dinesh, if you, can you please go back to the diagram which you have shown us?
this one.
So here, if you can see,
Hmm.
it is storing the only micro partition is storing only one and minimum and maximum ID. So
Hmm.
if I want to fetch the ID of 5 or 6, where it
Hmm.
is storing exactly? So how it will
Hmm.
gonna fetch? So when I try to fetch the
Hmm.
ID of
Hmm.
file record, so
Hmm.
how it's
Hmm.
gonna fetch? As it is storing
When
the minimum and maximum
uh,
one and two.
okay, in the both the things ID so 5 will be available. That is your question. So how it is going to pick the so things? Then it will scan like wherever the ID is available, right? The so both the partitions it will give you the information. So which partition is created first? So based on that.
Okay, so for the ID 5 also there would be a partition.
No. For not ID 5, the partition will be there. So let's say for example here, so minimum and maximum is here, right? So minimum 2 and then maximum t. It means
Okay,
so here the ID, the 5 is not available. So first it will go and then it will check. So minimum and then maximum. And then if it is not available here, then it will come here. Then it will check. So based on this metadata, it will pick one by one partition where so it is fetching the information that it will display.
okay,
Like
yeah,
if we give ID like 11, so in
Hmm.
the metadata 2, maximum value is 10. So it will not look in that metadata micro partition 2. And in
Correct.
macro partition 1, maximum value is 12. So it's between min and max value. So it will go to that micro partition. That's what.
Exactly, sir.
Yeah, Dinesh, one more thing. Can you just
Yeah,
come to
Kumar.
that screen?
Sure, sure.
See, let's say if it is means it
Mm-hmm.
is having five columns, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we have five different partition.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No, no,
Okay.
one partition, and we have five rows, right? So,
Okay.
all the means this columnar data is all the columns means simultaneously read, or it is means how it works, means reading, what is the reading style, like different means can we access all the things parallelly?
It means when it is reading, so so you are asking
Let's
that,
say
so
if
whether
I'm
it is
reading
being possible.
I'm reading id through cpu, and value
Mm-hmm.
through other cpu at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, means parallel processing and all that.
That is possible here. Yeah.
How
Parallel, so each and every partition, the micro partition, what it is created, right? So
hmm,
let's say, so we will not have only one virtual here. Let's assume that one thing. For example, when you created these virtual warehouses, right? Here we created multiple virtual warehouse, right? So with
hmm,
the one virtual warehouse, we assign to one user, another virtual warehouse, we assign to another user. Okay,
hmm,
let's assume that. So you are the one user and I am the another user. Yes, you are a
hmm,
developer and I am a tester. Both the persons can utilize the same virtual warehouse and you can use the same data, right? We can fetch the same data by using the different users, right? So
hmm.
this is the parallel processing. It will happen in the backend. So it will available for everyone, every user, and then
No,
every
no.
virtual warehouse.
I'm asking for
Mm.
a single query. Let's say I have
Mm-hmm.
executed a single query for
Okay.
ID number 7, and I put it select star, means I want to get all the columns. So
Mm-hmm.
in
Mm-hmm.
that case, it will go one by one to get all the record, all the data of 7, or it will
Mm.
use that means parallel processing kind of mechanism, or what will be the mechanism here?
Not, we cannot say in that particular situation, you cannot say that it's a parallel mechanism. So
Hmm.
just it will identify the first metadata partitions. Based
Yes.
on that, it will pick the exact partition only. It is
So
not going to do everything.
what is my confusion is, let's say if I'm
Mm.
talking about that Windows machine, it is 64
Mhm.
bit machine, right?
Okay.
And now we have jumped into that cloud. So 64
Okay.
bit machine means that one block is consisting of that 64 kb,
Mm. Mm.
right? Now if
Mm.
I'm coming to this cloud platform, so
Mhm.
does this physical storage contain this 50 MB or 16 MB? Means that physical storage block, the raw block is made of that size,
16 MB, correct.
that raw block. Okay. So okay. So it has to read sequentially only.
Yes, yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, fine.
Dinesh, metadata is a table kind of thing. Metadatas.
No, no, it's not a table. We
Even we
cannot,
cannot see the metadata.
no, we cannot see anything from the back and all these things. So just we need to understand from the documentation. That's it.
So everything in processing layer. I
Exactly.
mean, it's a logical part.
Yes.
Okay. So when we fire a query, so first it will search the data in metadata. So then
Mm.
through virtual warehouse, I mean, it will go
Correct.
to the storage layer and pick the data.
Exactly.
Correct?
That is. Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. So we'll see that
Dinesh,
kind
can
of
you
thing.
go back to that virtual warehouse once? I just have a question. The virtual
Uh,
warehouse.
sure, sure, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, here, so
Mm.
when you showed us the diagram, so
Mm.
there, this compute warehouse, so how much credit we are giving is 5,000 in your diagram, which you have shown us.
Mm.
So the sum of that is test warehouse, dev warehouse, load warehouse.
Mm.
That should, it's not like, there is no procedure like the sum should not be equal to the compute warehouse, right?
No, no, no. It's not like that. Anyway, we are controlling in the account level, right? So
Hmm.
it's not like that. So sometimes, so for this test warehouse, you can give assign 600, right? And
Hmm.
then
Hmm.
again, the load warehouse, again, you can assign a 600 also. The maximum you can give it to the warehouses. For example, if it is not utilizing, so then it can be utilized this particular thing.
Okay.
So there is no limit for that.
So individually, it can be used up to
Individually.
600. credits.
Individually also
So
you can use, and then total. So we can consider total. It should not exceed this much.
uh, the computerization warehouse credit limit, it should not
Yes,
exceed.
exactly.
Okay.
We can do that. This one. If you observe this here, for all this together, so we have 500 credit quota, right?
5,000.
So 5,000 credit quota. So whatever you have assigned, you can assign anything for this. You can assign 4,000 for this. You can assign 6,000. So sorry, to 3,000 for this. You can assign, so again 3,000 for this. It doesn't matter, but it should not exceed. So when it is utilizing, so utilizing when it is
Okay.
calculating, it should not exceed the credit quota of the complete account level. So that is the main restriction here.
Okay.
That's
Done. Thank you.
it. Okay. We will see that more information on this partition in the next session. So we'll try to understand more information about this. So thank you everyone. See you tomorrow.